Welcome to Cycle Sync Reset. I'm really excited that we have some participants in this first iteration of the program. So I have done this program before, but not in such a structured manner and not with a group setting. So I'm hoping that I can make this better as we go along, get some feedback from you guys, and see if we can help to make this a really great program. It's kind of a passion of mine to talk about our cycle and how we can optimize it because I've seen it make such a big difference for women who are able to use diet, exercise, and energy management in order to improve their symptoms. And then we don't even need to go down the road of necessarily doing a bunch of herbal supplements and things like that, because honestly, it's helpful, but it's not the solution in and of itself. So it's really important that we have this foundation moving forward. I've been inspired by many books. I brought them. So In the Flow is one of them. This is by Elisa Vitti. Very good book, and you can see it's well loved. I've gone through it several times. And then I've read this before, but I got a nice, pretty copy of it, The Fifth Vital Sign by Laura Briden. She's a naturopathic doctor. Also a really great read. Really goes into what master your cycles and optimize your fertility. So it really heavily focuses on improving your fertility, but it's really just about improving your overall health, because if you are fertile, that means that you're healthy. That's what our bodies are really meant to do. One of the things they're meant to do. And then this is the Hormone Repair Manual by Laura Briden, also naturopathic doctor, same author. But this one is specifically for perimenopause. So every woman's guide to healthy hormones after 40, she's got a ton of really great information in here. And again, naturopathic doctors, more holistic, more functional medicine, more the approach that we are all about here. So this week, we're just laying the foundations and getting started. This will run about 20 minutes or so. So it's a pretty quick introduction, but hopefully we'll give you a good basis to start to understand all of the things about your cycle and how we can use all of these aspects to help your health to be even better. And you can see results in as soon as your next cycle. So roughly 28 days, depending on your cycle. So let's go to the next. All right. So what you expect from this program, the goals are to reduce things like PMS symptoms, hormonal symptoms, especially those that can get worse with perimenopause. All of you ladies that are here in this program for this iteration are in that range. But this program really applies to any woman who's cycling. So I'm actually wanting to build one out I have a niece who just started her periods, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna make one for you, my friend, and for younger girls, so that they can understand and know that they're not weird, they're not gross. We never learned this growing up, and I really wish that we had, but our moms didn't learn it. So there we go. And it just kind of perpetuates the cycle. So we're going to break that cycle there. The other goals include boosting energy, mood, metabolism. And what we're going to do is align nutrition, exercise, and mindset with your cycle over these next 12 weeks to get you to that point. You're going to walk away with tools that you need in order to understand what's going on with your body, how to read those signs and symptoms that are coming up, and how to tweak things in your diet, your lifestyle, your exercise in order to accommodate what's going on with your hormones, with your stress level, with your life, in order to get the best out of yourself. So that's really what this is all about. We're going to have weekly live calls. They will be recorded. You do have assignments. They're very brief. Don't worry, nothing crazy. And then checking in. I need you guys to make sure that you are getting into that group chat there in Practice Better. It's under your program in the Cycle Sync Reset program. There's a group chat. So check in. All of us, tell us how you're doing, how the program's going. If you're having any issues with the program, definitely let me know that, because like I said, this is a brand new iteration of this that is more formal, and I'm planning to improve upon it. So that's part of your fee, is to give me your feedback. All right. And those of you here know me pretty well, but just a very quick overview. I went from being my heaviest when I was about 26 years old. That's me on the left here. I peaked at around 200 200 pounds and was like, oh boy. And my goal when I first started on my weight loss journey, I knew that if I continued down that road, I was going to lead to issues like I increased risk for diabetes and hypertension and heart disease and all these things. And plus, I just didn't feel good in my body. I always thought I was a bigger girl, which is kind of funny now because I was able to get that weight off and then keep it off. And my goal at that time when I was looking at this, I was like, oh, I'll be size 12 and that'll be as lean as I'll be able to get. But then I got to that point and I kept going and I just kept going. And I was like, oh, so it's amazing what your body's really capable of when you give it what it needs to let go of some of these things. And it's still a journey. I still have my ups and downs, and going through perimenopause, whoa, that will change things as well. Hormones are changing. The weight is not as easy to pull off as it was back in my early 30s. So I have to be more conscious about that. I make sure that I'm still taking really good care of myself. And my focus has changed. I went from trying to get as lean as possible, getting up on stage. I still plan to get back up on the bodybuilding stage, but this time the focus is more on building. So my mom was actually commenting on that yesterday at my previous skinny photos. I first got down to, lost about 45 pounds over the course of 2 years the hard way. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was lean, but I wasn't very athletic looking. Now I'm athletic looking because I have been training for longer and I've been lifting weights. So I have that more athlete look, which is what I prefer and also is typically associated with being healthier, better bone density, better muscle density, better resting metabolism. So you don't have to basically be on a starving diet for the rest of your life in order to maintain your weight. So that's one of the ways you can improve your resting metabolic rate is by building muscle. And it's also going to improve your metabolism. It's also going to improve your hormone profile, which will lead to better sex hormone profiles as well. So it's all tied together. So how to get the most out of this program? Your commitment equals your transformation. So it is a group program. It's a done with you program, not done for you. And even my done for you programs are not really actually done. I can't go to your house and put the food in your mouth or take the food out of your mouth. So you are responsible for your engagement, your participation, and all of that. And the more effort you put into this, more you're going to get out of it. But also, I want you to know that you have to go at your own pace. So where you're at is okay, and your readiness state is okay. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. I want you to take this information and apply it to you in a way that feels aligned. And that's the whole point of this program, honestly, is to listen to your intuition, listen to your body, and do more often what feels good to your body. So if movement feels better, then move. If it doesn't feel good right now, then back off. If eating a lot of protein feels good, it fills you up, great. If that feels like too much right now, do what you can. So I'm not wanting you to dive head in and you have to be 100% straight out the gate. In fact, that's a sure way to fail. So take small steps, integrate it, make it your baseline, and then add another on top of that as we keep going. Show up or watch the live replays. Obviously, I'm trying to give you a lot of value here, and I hope I do. Engage in the group. I forgot to reset my timer. I don't know how long I'm talking for. And follow the plan and ask questions, track your symptoms and your wins, share with us. This will help you to be more successful. Talk about how your cycle impacts your body. Why should you sync with your cycle? What does that even mean? What does that matter? When we actually honor the rhythm of our bodies, it aligns our energies a lot better. And it, instead of pushing through those times, let's say, for example, your luteal phase, your late phase, the last half of your cycle, things tend to dip down. Your energy, you will notice, goes down. Your recovery goes down. You might need more rest between your sets if you're in the gym, or you can't push as hard on a run, or it takes you longer to recover from that run. This is all very normal in that last half of the cycle and through your menstrual phase, which we're going to talk about more today, is your menstrual phase. And what's going on there is your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, everything kind of dips down. So very normal for things to slow down. If we honor that and let that be a recovery time, then we come back even stronger the next month and we're able to continue to build and push and get our performance to where we want it to be and our body composition where we want it to be. But when we fight against that and we try and push through and we do it every single month, you start to really wear on your system. We are on a 28-day-ish, what's called infradian rhythm, and men are on that 24-hour circadian rhythm, right? When we are premenstrual and then postmenopausal, we're more like men because our hormones are pretty even keel. And so we're more on a regular 24-hour circadian rhythm. We still have a circadian rhythm while we are cycling, and it does affect our infradian rhythm, the 28-day rhythm or the monthly cycle, but we have both to account for. So we need to honor both of them. And again, listen to your body. And when we do this, you're going to feel amazing. You're going to be able to take advantage of those super high highs when you're around the time when you're ovulating. You can go out and just crush it. And then when you come back down and it's time to rest and recover, you have that reflective time. And that's very beneficial to you as well. So why syncing your habits can reduce symptoms and optimize wellness, that's really where it ties in right there, is that your cycle and the symptoms that can come along with that. Let's say you have really bad breast tenderness that shows up. Well, that's new. And then it continues for another few months in a row. That is your body telling you that your hormones are off. That's a red flag. Really painful periods. That is not normal. It is common, but it's not normal. And that's one of the things that's really irritating about a lot of the PMS symptoms that are brushed off, and women are told it's normal and you just deal with it, take some ibuprofen and it's fine. It's not fine. We're actually finding that the worse the PMS or PMDD symptoms are, which premenstrual dysmorphia, or so the depression that can come along with that, the worse those symptoms are, the more risk there is for long-term health consequences. So ignoring those does not do you any good. It's uncomfortable. It makes you feel like you have to isolate yourself and you can't be your best. And then it can also impact your long-term health. Why wasn't this ever talked about? That's one of the things that's really frustrating. But when we look at the history of medicine, it was really ruled by men and they didn't understand women's bodies, and there was a lot of female suppression. So that gets into that whole the suppression of women and the background there. So we are turning that around, though. We're reclaiming our bodies and our cycles. It is something that we need to be paying attention to and owning. And when we do that, we just enhance our own ability to take care of ourselves, to heal our bodies, and to come into our own power, which is a really beautiful thing. All right, so I know this chart, a lot of people, we've got nurses in here. I saw that in a nursing school. There's a lot going on in here. We are going to get more familiar with this, though, because it is important to understand these fluctuations in these hormones and how they affect you. And then you can know how, oh, well, I feel like this because of this. And sometimes you'll notice too, you'll be able to tell when you're, oh, you know what? I think I'm low on progesterone because I've got these symptoms. I think I'm high on estrogen because I've got these symptoms, or I'm low on estrogen because I've got these symptoms, like hot flashes, for example, very common. But also, hot flashes can come if your progesterone is low, by the way. So there's some things that can go into that, but you start to be able to understand the rhythm of your body and how these things are correlating with your symptoms. So we're going to go into the first part of your cycle. We're going to start with day 0 or day 1. So day 0 would be right before you start your first bleed. The day 1 is your first day of your true bleed. So we are talking, this is when you got to do something about it. It's not just a little bit of spotting. It is full blown. We need to make sure that we don't have an accident on our pants or anything. So this is roughly day 1 to 7. Every woman is a little bit different. Some women only have a 3-day, some have 4, some have 5, some have 6, some have 7. Those are all within a normal range. And if you want to know more about what is normal and what is not normal, The Fifth Vital Sign is a fantastic book to look at because it really breaks it down for you. In the flow, she also talks about that as well. But The Fifth Vital Sign, I think, is really top notch for that. So this is when hormones are at their lowest point. You can see that right here. The estrogen is the purple, and then the FSH, LH, those are the signals from the brain to stimulate the ovary to mature an egg and then to release an egg. That's that luteinizing hormone. And then progesterone is very low in this spot right here too, but estrogen starts to rise up so we can have more energy. And remember, estrogen is an anabolic hormone, or now estrogen is an anabolic hormone. So this is a really great muscle building phase. You can push a little bit more in the gym, and you can also tolerate a little bit more of a calorie deficit. You tend to not be as hungry. Your metabolism is a little bit lower through this part of your phase. But let's say your periods are rough. And again, remember we talked about that could be really a symptom of something underlying right there. So if they're very painful, if you have a lot of symptoms, if you can't function on these days, that is not normal. Again, it can be common, but that doesn't mean that it's normal. And it is a warning sign that there is something going on. And we need to take a deeper look. And we don't just throw a birth control pill at it and call it a day. If we need to use that for a while to get symptoms under control while we're figuring out what's going on, that's okay. But we don't want to only do that and then never look at it again until the woman gets older and then eventually she comes off of it or stays on it well into menopause. And then we have no idea if she's even in menopause because she's being suppressed. So I've had all these scenarios come up. So the body, the uterus is shedding the lining. This is a very natural time to go inward and it has more restful energy. Again, we're going to ride with those waves, not against them. So let's talk about the nutrition. You do have your meal plan included with this week. And I know that, yes, we're starting on the menstrual phase, and you right now, today, are probably may not be in your menstrual phase, and that's okay. Again, this is more, we're going to talk about the education around it over the next 12 weeks. We're really going to start to sync up with your cycle as we work together to get you there. So this is a time to nourish and replenish. Again, when we have used up a lot of energy building up the uterus, building up that lining, and now we're shedding it out. So this is a very common time for women to develop anemia. So we need to replenish our iron stores, eating things that are really high in iron. Meats are really good. Beef is really good. It has the heme iron, which is the type of iron that is, oh, I got somebody else. Come here. Admit. There we go. So we have the heme iron in meats, so it's very well absorbed. If we get iron from plants, we just need to make sure that we're also getting a good source of vitamin C because the vitamin C helps the iron to get absorbed better. But I think mostly everyone in here does eat meat, so that won't be an issue. But if we have vegetarians ever, we can definitely work with that to make sure that we are getting the proper nutrients in there and the proper absorption. We want to focus on anti-inflammatory foods as well. And this is a warming period. So we talk a little bit about this kind of more of like a Chinese medicine type of a thing. When we have this warming period, we eat warmer foods. When we have a cooling period, we eat cooler foods, which is more like the follicular phase. So we're in the menstrual phase. It's a warming period. So warming foods, soups, stews, things like that. And easier on the digestion as well, because you might notice that, especially with that drop in progesterone, that's why we can have constipation. One of the things that progesterone does is it helps with that transit time. And so sometimes you can also have right before your period, you can get some loose bowel movements. That progesterone is affecting your transit time in your gut. So when it drops, you can end up with constipation. So make sure you're getting plenty of fiber and water and things like that. But also having that easier to digest food can help with that. Hydration is going to be super big. Again, we are shedding a lining, we are losing fluid. So we want to make sure that we're replenishing those things. And then doing gentle detox support. Things like cruciferous vegetables, root vegetables are really great for liver detoxification. So they're going to help with that natural process of your liver getting rid of the excess things, metabolizing out that estrogen from the last cycle because we don't want it sticking around. We need it to get cleared out. Movement. So movement is gentle and powerful. So doing more like a deload week is usually what I tend to go for, but sometimes even that is too much. So you really need to, again, listen to your body. If you're having a particularly stressful time, you might notice that, and the stress would have happened probably last cycle. And then this cycle is like, whoa, or it's still occurring. And then you're going to notice some changes in your cycle. That's very normal. So just listen to your body. And if pushing it in the gym doesn't feel good, you need longer recovery between sets. You need to slow down your tempo pace when you're doing your runs, or you even need to take some more time off and actually do more walking, do more yoga. Do what feels better in your body. Again, we're not pushing through this time. We are listening. We are taking that recovery time because we're going to come back stronger. So doing walking, yoga, stretching, resting altogether, taking a full day to just lay on the couch or whatever, do it. Like, this is the time. This is your time, and it is okay. You have prescription from me to do so. So we need to reframe this rest as essential and not being lazy, which is really hard. All of the women in this program right now, and a lot of women who come to me are very driven. They are very motivated. They are go-getters, and they are working very hard in their lives, and they're juggling a lot of things. And that's great. But we also need to be going just as hard after our recovery time in order to be our best. That takes a little bit of adjustment, doesn't it? So, mindset and self care. Again, this is a time for inner reflection and reconnection. You're going to have journaling prompts in your module in Practice Better. I just put those in this morning. So, you've got a Google Drive. I'll go over that too at the end here and kind of through it. So, you're going to have inner reflection and reconnection journaling prompts for this phase. And I encourage you to just take some time, one or two sentences. You don't have to write a book or anything, but it helps just kind of on how you're doing, and what you want to do with your next month and how you're going to continue to take care of yourself. Writing things down is very powerful. Patterns. We've got more sensitivity and introspection, sometimes a little too much sensitivity when like we cry at a commercial, right? But okay, because we're actually like this a little bit because you are connecting to another part of yourself, and that can be very beautiful, and it can be something that is used to your advantage as opposed to something that sidelines you. Okay. Again, if you're noticing that you're having a month where like you're exceptionally emotional, your moods are really bad, watch that. And then if I continue to have those symptoms over the next 2, 3 months, and you're noticing a pattern here, your body is giving you a warning sign. It's sending up a flare. It's saying, I need help. So we need to stop and take a look at what's going on there and see if we can get things to reverse before they get down that road where we start to have some real problems. Again, you have permission to rest, and you have permission to say no. Is a complete sentence, by the way. Take time for you. Okay, so in your toolkit, here, push through. All right. So you got your weekly challenge. It doesn't want to go to the last one. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share here because I want to share my screen over here. We're going to go through the actual module. Let me pull it up, and then I'm going to share it with you guys. Person needs me to reload it. Sorry, hold please. Okay, this is unlocked for you. This one right here. Okay, this is unlocked for you. It unlocked at 1 o'clock. So you've got your first module in here, and you do have your overview of the meal plan, which is in Clean Life. And I actually need to put that link in here. I just saw that. Let's see here. Okay, there you go. All right, so that is updated. And then once I get this video uploaded and everything, I'll also put that down here for those to rewatch. Let's go to stop share. And now I'm going to share another screen with you guys to kind of through. Okay, so here is the meal plan. Get this little thing out of my way. There we go. Okay, this is a sample meal plan, and I do have a quick walkthrough, so I'm not in your module, so I won't go into too much detail here. But this is what it looks like. And we're going to continue to add to these. Take a look, and basically you kind of like this is a really big one. So pick breakfast, pick a snack, pick a lunch, and take a look at that and see what you'd like to try and incorporate during that time of your cycle. Although honestly, you can eat these at any time because they are all very nutrient dense and help to replenish your stores of things like iron, fiber, magnesium, zinc, all of these things that we really kind of through as women, especially under stress and during this time. So the dark chocolate and walnuts is one of my favorites. That was really good. Okay, then let's go to, I'm going to share my entire screen because I'm tired of going back and forth. Okay, go to, here is your folder. basically your Google Drive folder. So you have everything in here, hopefully, that you need. The menstrual phase support prep guide. So this is the full prep guide for that meal plan. And if you were to follow that exact meal plan, this prep guide would be great for you. It is exactly what you would do when you need to do it. So this is really more of a guide and to kind of see how you could use that to make your life a little bit easier. Again, the Done With You program, so this isn't customized. If you want customization, that is a different program. And then we have the Cycle Sync Reset Symptom Tracker. So this one is for every week. You can print it out if you would like to. It's just a recommendation, but you can also use, I like a Flow app. That's a good one. There's lots of cycle tracking apps out there. But keeping a better eye on things will really help to understand where the patterns are and where the triggers are. And is this something, because sometimes we're like, oh God, that was like everything is so bad. But then when you look at your pattern, you're like, oh, I guess it was a kind of off. Or, oh, wow, no, this has been going on for a while. And I've just been kind of under the rug. And that's something to definitely be aware of. All right. Also in here are your journal prompts. So you have those. And then gentle movement guides. So just some ideas to give you of what you can do to restore yourself during this time. Okay. All right, Lee, that is all I have for you. So again, make sure that you check out your here, the Cycle Sync Reset and Practice Better. We've got the chat group here. Definitely out there. Drop in there pictures of what you're eating, what recipes you try. Let me know how it's going, what suggestions you have. If there's anything confusing or anything you'd like included in the program, just let me know. Do we have, and I'm not even looking at the chat right now. Do we have any questions right now before we wrap up? Nope. Okay. Wasn't too much like drinking through a fire hose, ladies, but if you have any questions, again, feel free to put them in the group chat. And if you have private questions, no, okay, good. If you have private questions that you don't want to, group, totally fine. You can personally chat me and that'll be good. No worries there. It is recorded, so you can go back and take a look at it. I know Fridays are kind of, this is unfortunately the only time I can get this in. So, and I'm going to see people later today. So thank you so much for joining me. And I will check you guys out on next week. Watch the chat for what that will be. I'm actually prefer to do this around noon. I thought might work better, but I will put it in the chat next one next week. All right, ladies, have a great rest of your day and your weekend. Bye.